The archangel says that leading within the enemy's trap requires constant vigilance and a firm adherence to your principles. The enemy can use resources that initially seem to promote progress, but are actually intended to sow discord and indifference in your spirit. It is essential to maintain a strong connection with your true mission and purpose to avoid being manipulated by deceptive offers. The archangel also says that there is still hope for those who recognize their mistakes and seek to change their path. Redemption is always available, and heavenly forces are there to offer support and guidance to anyone. Forgiveness is a powerful tool for transformation and is within the reach of anyone who sincerely seeks to abandon the ways of the enemy and redirect their lives toward peace and benevolence. The angels teach the importance of being attentive to the influences you choose to allow into your life. It is crucial to discern between the paths that lead to light and those that descend into the depths of despair. By consciously choosing to follow the precepts of good and truth, I strengthen you against the temptations the enemy places on your way, protecting you from the fatalities they wish to impose. The angels speak to you of the importance of recognizing your own worth, regardless of the opinions of others. When you see yourself as worthy of your own happiness, you begin to separate your well-being from the actions and perceptions of others, especially those who may not recognize your true worth. My son, remember that your happiness should not be a commodity in the hands of others. You are the only true guardian of your joy and well-being. Seeking external sources of happiness that see you from a derogatory perspective will only serve to perpetuate cycles of pain and sadness. The seraphim announce that it is possible to claim your happiness and build an inner foundation resistant to the opinions and unfair treatment of others. This implies strengthening your relationship with yourself and your spiritual beliefs, ensuring that you are anchored in a base of self-love and respect. The angels tell you that avoiding the truths that lead to an empty life is a form of self-deception that can have profound consequences for your soul. Ignoring the essential aspects of your life only prolongs emptiness and prevents the spiritual and personal growth necessary to find fulfillment. The angels warn that avoiding fundamental truths can leave your soul constantly restless. This state of unrest is a sign that there are important issues that need to be confronted and resolved so that you can move forward with greater purpose and satisfaction in your life. The archangel says that the courage to face difficult truths is what eventually leads to the release of emptiness. As long as you try to avoid these truths, your soul will continue to be touched by a constant longing for something more meaningful and enriching, which can only be achieved through an honest understanding of yourself and your real needs. The angels tell you that walking in the same essence as the enemy is a dangerous path full of traps that promise to destroy the peace and harmony that should reign in your life. By choosing to follow in the footsteps of evil, one renounces the protective and guiding light, inviting only the challenges and shadows that such choices inevitably bring with them. This journey is marked by a series of fatalities that not only afflict the individual, but also those around him, sowing pain and suffering where there could be love and understanding. I ask for the health and healing of all those who face physical, mental, or emotional illnesses. grant them strength and complete restoration. The angels warn that the consequences of aligning with negative energies are profound and long-lasting. Living in harmony with the enemy means denying the very divine essence that each being carries within. With every step one takes down this dark path, the further they move away from the true essence that is capable of elevating, healing, and illuminating. Those who choose this path often find themselves in a vicious circle of regret and despair, unable to find the way out that will take them back to the light. The angels have warned you that while you are away, the gaps your presence fills may be occupied by others, or worse still, they may remain empty, causing a sense of loss and desperation. This can generate changes in the dynamics of the group and personal relationships, of which you may want to be a part in the future. The angels bring words of wisdom about the value of presence. They remind you that being physically and emotionally available is crucial to maintaining strong and meaningful relationships. Your presence is valued much more than you think, and those who depend on you can feel your absence deeply. My son, your journey is sacred, and only when the rumors of envy try to divert you from your path should you remember who you are and where you come from. The glow of evil is fleeting and false, while the light of truth and goodness is eternal and genuine. Stay anchored in your values and in your faith, and you will find the right direction. Even in the darkest moments, the seraphim announce that every choice we make defines us. Choosing not to be corrupted by envy and rumors is a demonstration of strength and character. Facing these adversities with integrity and honor will illuminate your path and serve as an example to those around you, showing that it is possible to remain faithful in the midst of trials. God warned that revenge is a natural response to feeling hurt or betrayed, but it is born from a place of hate and can result in a mind twist that only serves to deviate you from your true path. Allowing this feeling to take over your actions will only delay your journey of personal growth and evolution. Revenge may seem satisfying in the short term, but it rarely brings the peace one seeks. I pray for peace around the world, inspiring leaders and nations to resolve conflicts with wisdom and compassion, promoting harmony and global well-being. The angels warn that giving in to revenge is allowing hatred to control your decisions, which can cloud your judgment and take you away from your life goals. It is important to remember that every moment spent planning revenge is a wasted moment that could be used to build something positive or to heal the wounds that triggered that desire. God has warned that by restricting the devil's expectations, you demonstrate a growing detachment from his influences and traps. Each conscious decision to avoid actions that may delay your spiritual evolution is a testimony of your dedication and commitment to the path of light. This is a clear sign that you are strengthening your defense against attempts to divert your path. The angels warn that the devil's expectations are often designed to instill doubt and despair. By recognizing them and consciously deciding not to feed them, you avoid falling into behaviors that can hinder your spiritual evolution. This resistance not only preserves your spiritual energy, but also promotes more solid and authentic growth on your journey. The Archangel says that every step we take away from the devil's traps is a step toward true freedom. By restricting your expectations, you are actually building a protective shield around your spiritual essence. This shield will help you stay focused on your personal development and growth without being distracted by outside influences. The angels speak to you with encouragement and remind you that every choice counts in the battle against negative expectations. Every time you choose to follow a path aligned with positive and constructive values, you are effectively reducing the space in your life for negativity. The angels announce that free time can be an opportunity for growth and renewal, but it must also be balanced with maintaining important bonds. It is possible to take time off in a healthy way and at the same time remain involved and interested in the lives of those you temporarily leave behind. Lord, I ask you for wisdom for all of us, that we may make thoughtful decisions reflecting your justice, love, and truth in every aspect of our lives. The angels encourage you to carefully consider the consequences of your absence for both yourself and others. They suggest that as you plan time off, you also plan ways to continue to value and nurture your long-distance relationships, ensuring that when you return, you will be welcomed with open arms and warm hearts, ready to reintegrate without resentment or ill will. The angels announce that each day brings a new opportunity to change and make decisions that reflect who you really are and what you want for your life. Leaving aside destructive relationships and seeking new connections that offer respect and admiration is essential to rebuild your self-esteem and rekindle your motivation. The angels bring hope and the promise that you are not alone on this journey. They are always by your side, offering unconditional love and support, ready to help you get up when you fall. Trust that with your faith and determination, you can overcome adversity and find a way of light and truth that will lead you to a life of contentment and peace. The angels announce that even in difficult situations, there is always a lesson to be learned. If you are currently in a challenging collaboration, use this experience to develop a deeper understanding of how emotional relationships affect partnerships. This knowledge will be invaluable in future interactions. The angels warn about the importance of maintaining emotional and personal integrity. Collaborating with those who do not share your emotions and core values can be a trap leading to your worst nightmare. But with discernment and wisdom, you can navigate these turbulent waters and find partners who will enrich your journey rather than complicate it. The angels have warned you that the emptiness you are trying to avoid is often a sign that there are aspects of your life that are not aligned with your deepest values. Recognizing and adjusting these aspects are essential steps to filling the void and ensuring that your soul is nourished in an authentic and lasting way. The angels bring a message of hope and renewal, encouraging you to face the difficult times you have been avoiding. By doing so, you will open new doors to personal and spiritual growth that can profoundly transform your life experience. God Almighty, I ask for economic prosperity for those facing financial difficulties. Open doors to new opportunities and provide the necessary resources to live with dignity. The angels announce that every step taken toward the truth is a step toward fullness. They are ready to support you in this journey, offering guidance and comfort as you face realities that have been difficult to accept. The angels encourage you to consider that although it may be difficult to face the truths that lead to an empty life, it is essential for finding a fuller and richer existence. Your soul is constantly touched to remind you that it is possible to live with greater authenticity and joy. The angels bring hope and remind you that every challenge we face in leading the enemy's trap is an opportunity to strengthen our faith and leadership. By choosing paths that align with our core values, we not only avoid the traps set by the enemy, but also guide those under our leadership with an example of courage and integrity. The angels announce that vigilance and prayer are your best tools when it comes to leading in adverse circumstances. Seeking divine guidance and maintaining constant communication with the angels can illuminate the correct path, protecting you from the hidden traps and the tempting resources the enemy can offer. The angels speak to you of the importance of keeping your heart and mind open to divine wisdom. Even when you operate within the enemy's trap, your connection with the divine can offer clarity and peace necessary to make decisions that promote the highest good, keeping your soul free from indifference and strengthening your leadership with true light. The angels warn you about the isolation that can arise from an unannounced separation. When people do not understand your reasons or your intention to return, they may begin to distance themselves, reducing the social support they will have when you finally decide to return. This feeling of isolation can be detrimental to your emotional and social well-being, my son. You should know that your absence not only affects you, but also those around you. It is possible that, unintentionally, you create a void that was once filled with your presence. This void can cause others to miss you significantly. This feeling of loss may be interpreted as a devaluation of your role in their lives, which can be painful for both parties. Lord, I pray for the strengthening of families around the world, that every home may be a haven of love, support, and mutual understanding. The seraphim announces that every step you take affects the fabric of your relationships. If you choose to walk away, do so with the awareness that you must maintain bridges, not burn them. Keep the lines of communication open and be clear about your needs and plans for return. This will help preserve the bonds that are important to you and others. God warns that celebrating the uncertainties of others is not an act of maturity, but rather a revelation of a lack of emotional and spiritual development. True maturity involves empathy and understanding, not joy at the discomfort or struggles of others. Taking advantage of other people's uncertainty to celebrate suggests that there is still a long way to go on the path to personal maturity. The angels warn that such behavior may indicate a superficial understanding of the laws of human and spiritual interaction. Celebrating while others face uncertain times may backfire on you by creating a climate of mistrust and resentment around you. In your relationships, maturity comes from recognizing and respecting the journey and struggles of others, just as we expect them to respect our own. The archangel says that envy is one of the most corrosive feelings that can arise in our path, but we must not allow it to corrupt our ideals. Instead, we must strengthen our resolve to act with kindness and justice, keeping our inner light shining even in the face of the temptation to respond in kind. The angels warn you about the dangers of being seduced by the glare of evil. The shine may be attractive and promise great rewards, but the consequences of following this path are much darker. The true light that guides us to redemption and peace is never found in the paths of deception and misconduct. God, who builds ways without a guarantee against evil, takes a risky step. By not protecting your soul, you may unknowingly allow negative forces to influence it. This lack of safeguards can leave you vulnerable to attacks that seek to divert your life and purpose. The angels warn that spiritual defenses are essential on the path of life, just as a home needs solid foundations to withstand storms. Your soul needs protection to stand firm against evil. Without this protection, negative forces can penetrate and wreak havoc, sometimes in ways that are not noticed until it is too late. The archangel says that allowing evil to strike your soul is often the result of negligence or ignorance. It is crucial to be aware of the influences around you and actively work to set up barriers against those that are harmful. This vigilance is what eventually defines the strength and resilience of your spirit. God warned that putting your happiness in the hands of someone who doesn't value you properly is a dangerous path to take. Such an act can not only compromise your joy, but also subject your emotional well-being to an outside influence that doesn't have your best interests in mind. This can result in a cycle of suffering that is hard to break. Father, I ask you to bless students, teachers, and educational institutions. Let knowledge be a light for the path and a resource for a better future. The angels warn that trusting someone who only sees you as a resource or someone to be used can lead to devaluing your self-esteem. When you base your happiness on the approval or attention of that person, each interaction has the potential to cause pain and reinforce feelings of inadequacy. The archangel says that true happiness must be cultivated internally and should not depend exclusively on external sources. Giving your happiness to someone who doesn't respect you completely exposes you to disappointments that can fragment your sense of personal value. The archangel says that the path of revenge is dangerous and full of traps. Instead of giving in to this impulse, it is advisable to seek understanding and forgiveness. These are the true forces that have the power to free your mind and heart from the bonds of resentment, allowing you to continue your path with a light heart and a clear mind. Angels speak the truth when they say that revenge does not change the past, but it can certainly ruin the future. Instead of focusing on retaliation, focusing on developing resilience and learning from past experiences can transform negativity into opportunities for growth and personal empowerment. The archangel says that true celebration is born from achievements that are shared, or at least not built at the expense of the suffering of others. Maturity comes from recognizing that each person has their own times and battles, and that true victory is one that is achieved without harming others. The angels are speaking to you today to reflect on the long-term consequences of your actions. Celebrating based on other people's uncertainty can lead to an isolated life, where people hesitate to share their lives with you for fear of being used or belittled in moments of vulnerability. God, for those who struggle with addictions, grant them the strength to overcome and the help they need to find freedom and a new life in you. My son, consider how your actions reflect your character. A truly mature and spiritually developed heart seeks to alleviate the uncertainty of others, not celebrate it. Compassion and empathy are hallmarks of an evolved soul and are essential for cultivating healthy and lasting relationships. The angels have warned that the corruption of the spirit is one of the greatest dangers we face when we allow the glare of evil to corrupt us. When we succumb to this temptation, we move further away from our true mission and purpose. It is vital to remember that, at the end of the day, what really counts are the decisions that reflect our true selves. The angels bring words of encouragement and support, guiding you to resist the temptations that appear disguised as easy solutions and fast paths to success. True success comes from the growth and development that occurs when you make fair decisions and stay true to your principles. The seraphim announces that every interaction is an opportunity to demonstrate maturity and growth. When faced with the struggles of others, offer support and understanding rather than looking for reasons for personal celebration. This will strengthen your connection with the divine and improve your relationships with others in your community. The angel announces that maturity is measured not only by how you celebrate your own victories, but also by how you react to the adversities of others. A compassionate and empathetic response not only helps others, but also nurtures your own spiritual growth. The angels bring a message of caution about the small choices that define character. Celebrating the uncertainty of others may seem insignificant at the moment, but these actions make up the broader picture of who you are and how others perceive you. My son, remember that revenge may seem like a just response to injustice, but it does not bring true justice. True justice comes from the ability to move on without letting the actions of others define your emotional state or your future actions. Forgiveness can be a more difficult path, but it is the most rewarding. Father, I ask you for spiritual renewal for all of us, so that we can get closer to you and experience a revival in our hearts and communities. The seraphim announced that revenge is too heavy a burden to carry in the heart. It weighs heavily on the soul and obscures the inner light that guides every human being on their life path. Releasing this burden does not mean ignoring the harm that has been done, but choosing to respond in a way that aligns with your highest values and the highest good. The angels speak the truth when they say that living with contempt can cloud your view of the world, making you see everything through a gray lens of pessimism and sadness. This state of mind not only affects your emotional well-being, but also prevents you from reaching your true potential. It is vital to recognize these signs and seek the spiritual guidance necessary to redirect your life towards a path of self-acceptance and self-love. Mr. Gold's pursuit of social justice strives to eliminate inequalities, ensuring everyone has the same opportunities for success and well-being. My son, remember that your journey is unique, and every step you take must be toward growth and happiness. To live with contempt is to choose a path that leads to stagnation and sadness. I encourage you to seek relationships and communities that uplift and inspire you instead of depressing you. Only in an environment of mutual support can you prosper and achieve all that is meant to be. The seraphim announced that liberation from the cycle of contempt begins with self-awareness and the desire for change. Recognizing that you are in a toxic environment is the first step to freeing yourself from your bonds. From there, you can begin to build a path of healing and redemption by surrounding yourself with people who recognize your value and contribute positively to your life. The angels have advised that collaboration should be an enriching and empowering experience, not a source of stress and conflict. When energies are not aligned, attempts to work together can lead to compromises that neither party really wants to make, resulting in a situation where no one comes out truly satisfied. The angels bring hope and advise you to consider waiting for more emotionally compatible partners. While it may be tempting to move on quickly, sometimes patience is needed to find the right people who truly resonate with your ideals and emotions, ensuring a more successful and harmonious outcome. The angels speak to you urgently about the importance of being proactive in defending your spiritual integrity. It is not enough to wait for negative forces not to reach you. It is necessary to create a space of light and positivity so strong that evil cannot prevail. This involves both regular spiritual practices and constant evaluation of your peers and influences. My son, remember that every choice you make builds the reality in which you live. Allowing evil to enter passively through lack of action or awareness is like opening the doors of your house to a thief. Protect your soul with the same care you would with your physical home, through preventive measures and constant alerts. The seraphim announce that resistance to evil is not just a battle, but a constant need. As you build your life, make sure to include practices that reinforce your spiritual protection. This can include prayer, meditation, communion with nature, or any activity that strengthens your spirit and renews your connection with the divine. The angels announce that you are not alone in your fight against envy and evil forces. Celestials are always ready to offer their protection and guidance. Calling on their help in times of uncertainty can provide the clarity and strength needed to remain whole, no matter what challenges arise. The angels finally speak to you about the importance of keeping faith and hope alive within you. The journey may be turbulent, and rumors may try to destabilize you, but with faith as a shield and hope as a compass, you will be able to navigate through the storms without getting lost. Always remember that the true light is never corrupted and is within you, ready to light the way when needed. The angels warn you about the subtlety of the tactics used by the enemy when offering resources that may seem advantageous. These resources can gradually alter your perception and reactions, making you more susceptible to decisions that favor indifference and distance you from your true goals. Maintaining clarity of purpose and constantly consulting your moral and spiritual core is crucial to effective, principled leadership. My son understands that leading within the enemy's trap is a challenging journey. It is possible that you will find yourself in situations where you feel pressured to use resources that contradict your values. This is a testament to their faith and their ability to remain faithful to what is right and true, despite pressures to compromise. The seraphim announces that true leadership is measured not only by the successes achieved, but also by integrity. This integrity is demonstrated in times of adversity. Leading within the enemy's trap may create the temptation to follow easier paths, but it is your resistance to these temptations that defines your character and identifies your position as a true and honorable leader. The angels say that reflecting on your actions and motivations is crucial to maturity. Understanding why you are inclined to find joy in other people's adversity can reveal areas that need attention and personal growth. This understanding is the first step in transforming behaviors and aligning ourselves more closely with ethical values. The spiritual angels are now warning you that it is time to evaluate and adjust your behavior. Recognizing that celebrating the uncertainty of others is inappropriate is a sign of readiness to grow and mature. Look for ways to develop deeper empathy and a greater sense of justice so that your celebrations can be truly joyful and shared by all. The angels surrounding you warn that following in the footsteps of the enemy leads to the glorious destiny that each soul is destined to achieve. Life is a precious gift, and each moment should be lived with reverence and gratitude. Choosing the path of good is to honor this gift and is the only way to truly celebrate the magnificence of creation. The angels bring a message of caution and hope. Be careful to always be alert and vigilant against the temptations that the enemy presents, and have hope that even in the darkest moments, the light is never out of sight. Its reach, faith, and trust in divine forces are armor that protects against the adversities imposed by evil. The angels announce that victory over the enemy is certain for those who remain faithful to the precepts of love and truth. The battle between good and evil is incessant, but those who choose the side of light have an unstoppable force on their side, with the angels as guides and protectors. There is no fatality, my son. Remember that curbing the devil's expectations is not just a matter of avoiding certain actions, but also actively cultivating qualities such as faith, hope, and love. These are the true qualities that nourish your soul and strengthen your resilience against attempts to divert you from your divine purpose. The seraphim announce that vigilance and prayer are indispensable in this fight against bad expectations. Through prayer, you connect with the divine source of power that allows you to see beyond the illusions that the devil tries to impose. This divine power sustains your journey and ensures that you remain nourished and protected on your path of spiritual growth. The angel announces that by making the conscious decision to restrict the devil's expectations, you are sending a clear message to the universe that you are committed to a higher path. This active choice not only drives away negativity, but also attracts positive energies that support and enrich your journey. God warned that living on the same side as contempt not only affects the environment in which you live, but also penetrates deep into your soul, interspersing your actions with doubts and uncertainties that can lead to chronic demotivation. When you are surrounded by negative feelings, it is difficult to stay focused on the positive aspects of life and on the goals you want to achieve. This atmosphere of rejection continually affects you, making even the simplest tasks burdensome and meaningless, hindering personal and spiritual growth. The angels warn that by choosing to remain in environments where contempt is constant, you inadvertently allow this negative energy to shape your perceptions and actions. This state of affairs can lead to a vicious circle of negativity, where every small failure or criticism is amplified, making it difficult to see any light or possibility of progress. It is essential to seek spaces of acceptance and mutual respect, because they are the ones that provide the support to overcome challenges and move forward with confidence. The archangel says that the presence of feelings such as contempt should not be accepted as a norm in your life. You possess the divine power to choose your path, and you should strive to be in environments that promote peace and harmony, away from toxic influences. It is a crucial step in maintaining mental and spiritual health and is essential to living a life full of purpose and meaning. The angels warn you about the dangers of ignoring emotional incompatibility in collaboration. This neglect can not only negatively affect the project or goal at hand, but can also cause lasting damage to your emotional health and overall well-being as you strive to make the partnership work. Against all odds, my son, it is important to remember that not all collaboration opportunities are appropriate. Carefully evaluate whether the potential partner's values and emotions are in tune with yours. It is essential to avoid falling into traps that can bring more pain than benefit. The seraphim announce that wisdom and discernment are necessary when choosing collaborators. They advise seeking guidance and listening to intuition, which can often perceive subtleties that the rational mind might ignore. This approach can protect you from making mistakes that could turn opportunities into nightmares. The angel announces that every act of revenge leaves a stain on the soul, a stain that can prevent the light from fully shining. It is through forgiveness, compassion, and the search for justice in a healthy and constructive way that one can truly overcome the harm caused by others. The angels bring words of wisdom and encouragement, reminding us that true strength lies in forgiveness and in walking the path of righteousness.